The desert heat pressed down on us, making every footstep a misery. We kept glancing up in hope of seeing a town or a gas station beginning to resolve itself in the distance, but all we saw was the asphalt of the interstate, cutting a straight line into the wavering horizon. I was glad to have someone to walk with on this hellish trip, but I rarely spoke. The man I walked with was the regional sales manager for a software company named Spaulding, and he talked enough for the both of us. All I know is someone's getting sued. I don't give a crap if that car is a rental. This is lost wages and time, he said. Do you see those potholes? It's a wonder they don't have a wreck every week, and twice on Sundays. Both our cars had been damaged by potholes so wide that they'd almost cut across a road, yet neither I or Spaulding had seen them until it was too late. We'd been heading in the opposite directions, but ended up having to pull over to our respective sides of the road within a few yards of each other. And this is an interstate! With all the money we pay on taxes, they should be taking better care of these roads. They're the arteries of the nation, shipping and commerce, you know what I mean? I nodded in agreement. Spaulding had tried to call a towing service and the police, but his cell phone couldn't find a signal. I, on the other hand, had no cell phone, no credit cards, and even my car wasn't properly registered. Ever since I quit my job, I'd been living a ghost-like existence. How long you think we've been walking for? Spaulding said. Must have been hours now, and not a single car's come by. There's a new off-ramp near Eden's Corner. I bet it's fueling off all that traffic. Not that it's any kind of excuse for this kind of shoddy upkeep. I mean, look at these potholes. It never ends. While none of the dents in the asphalt passing us now were as deep as the ones that damaged our cars, there was a jagged quality to them I found singularly unpleasant. Each hole in the blacktop gaped like the mouth of a lamprey. I made sure to walk on the uneven, litter-strewn side of the road. Spaulding pointed ahead. I know the town up ahead. Not much of a town, really. The only business making any money is a scrapyard. But they've got a store that used to be a Woolworths, but it's owned by some old fart. He runs it by himself, and you can tell. His daughter runs the lunch counter, and she's not a bad cook. Just stay away from the pork chops. Wherever this town was, there was still no sign of it, and the sun was beginning its downward descent. I did not want to have to walk this stretch of desert at night. There was too much emptiness here. The desolation felt my stomach churning. I couldn't wait to reach the town my companion was talking about, but I suspected it would be some time before I could leave. There was no way I could pay for the kind of repairs my car would need. There are no kids. It's like some kind of retirement community. Everyone's my age or older. Heck, even the town's whore is pushing 50. He gave me a mischievous nudge. But she knows what she's doing, so who cares? After 90 minutes of walking and pointless conversation, it was dusk. I'd heard about how cold it could get in the desert at night, and I didn't want to think about how dark it would get. I wondered quietly if we could see lights from the town soon, and I worried this was all some waking nightmare I could never escape. My bladder groaned. I excused myself and headed for a nearby road sign. Spaulding called after me. Don't shake it more than twice, buddy! As I relieved myself, I thought again of the circumstances that brought me here. Not just the potholes or the dwindling funds. I considered everything. There were times I worried about my sanity. It wasn't so long that I had entered such lofty aspirations, but now all I hoped for was to sleep through an entire night and awaken feeling safe. That the sun had almost set and the sky had turned a murky shade of purple. I could barely read the print on the withered old signs. Burma shave. I chuckled at the thought. This was more of a relic than an advertisement. A sound reached my ears. At first, I took it to be the sound of wind moving through the trees, but there were no trees. Only solitary cactus and half-dead bushes. Then I thought it might be the sound of an evening tide, but in a desert that was even more of a ridiculous idea. Finally, I noticed that it must have been an approaching vehicle, and I quickly finished and ran to the roadside. I found myself alone. There was no sign of my companion anywhere. I called his name, but there was no answer. A faint slithering sound caused me to turn around just in time to see something pale disappear into the blacktop. The gloomy dusk left me uncertain of what I'd seen, but sometimes I'm certain that what I'd seen was a human hand slipping away as though it was being swallowed by oily liquid. Spaulding had called these roads the artery of a nation, but what might happen if those arteries became starved for blood? As the last light of day faded into darkness, I began to run, keeping my every footfall far onto the soft shoulder.